2016, July 4th, this is when WWE was still very much a goofy professional wrestling organization. So given that it was the American Independence Day and we had an episode of Monday Night Raw, well, somebody decided we better have a food fight. Why not? Also, hello from my weird new surroundings. I'm going to keep saying this on every video because people do get confused, which I do understand, but I'm currently touring the East Coast of America with the last match. Tickets available now. But yes, when we do go back to this fateful night, there was a big American independence party going on with a bunch of WWE superstars who, in terms of storyline, had nothing better to do. And one of these human beings was Kevin Owens. He'd actually returned to the scene of the crime after the food had been thrown, and when he went to have a snack, he had said, this would never happen on Canadian Independence Day, because he is from north of the border, when he turned around and somebody got a pie, and they threw it right in his face. Now, let's not underestimate how ridiculous this was, because yes, if you do go back and watch this now, it's a first-person pie throwing, so you see it coming towards KO's skull as if he was filming it, and actually, when you take into account what wrestling is, that doesn't make any sense. That's not the point I want to discuss though, because Owens was so distraught about this and so desperate to find out who was the culprit, he even hired the fashion police to try and figure it out, but after a year of them attempting to do so and completely failing, WWE just decided to drop the story, and here we sit today, and we are none the wiser. Because journalist extraordinaire AJ Awesome actually asked Kevin Owens about this a few years ago, and his answer about who threw the pie was none other than Vince McMahon. But I went back and listened to this interview, and I think Kevin is trying to make out like, of course it was Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon at the time was responsible for all of the stories, so no matter what happens under the WWE banner, you point your finger at Vince McMahon. Amazingly, a short while after this, the Road Dogg Jesse James on his podcast also talked about this, and he too said, yeah, it was meant to be the chairman of the board. But once again, I loaded this up in my ears, and I actually think he must have heard the story that we just talked about and presumed that was the case, because he didn't really have any information to back that up either. It was just people walking around going, oh, Vince McMahon threw the pie. Now, even if this was the idea, it was totally dropped from television, although do not forget, after this, Kevin Owens did headbutt Vince McMahon on television. It was a shoot headbutt. It's a different story for a different day. So I suppose you could start crossing the streams, but in no way do I think anybody sat down and pitched this thing where they went, okay, so Kevin is going to get a pie in the face, and his response is going to be attempted murder of an old man. And if you were just solely watching Raw and SmackDown as well, you would have no idea about any of this, because once again, they just decided to stop talking about it one day. And let's say that it was Vince. How on earth is that ever going to figure into any kind of a narrative? I mean, what was the payoff going to be? Kevin Owens versus Vince McMahon at WrestleMania? I don't think anybody wanted to see that, and I'm Kevin Owens' biggest fan. So instead, we must take our own brains and go through some other contenders. And it first started with the vaudevillains who were trying to sing to entertain their guests when they got booed off stage, so actually, they could potentially be responsible for this, because yeah, if you were trying to perform at a party and people started going, boo, boo, we don't want you here, you'd probably think, well, screw you guys, I'm gonna throw food into your face. We've all done it. The Miz and Maurice then told people not to do a food fight, which of course is what triggered the food fight, because they were the first people to get food in their face. So once again, maybe they wanted to get food revenge. I mean, they were wearing very nice clothes, although actually there's another mystery here, because nobody ever points the finger of blame about who threw that stuff at Miz and Maurice. So it could be the same person. And if it was, it also means Miz and Maurice innocent. We also saw the Dudleys, The Ascension, Enzo and Cass, Bo Dallas, Primo, Echo and Big Show, as well as Kane. And actually at one point it's Big Show that goes to throw some grub at Luchador. The Luchador moves out the way and he hits Kane, and then Kane and the Big Show are about to chokeslam each other when Heath Slater turns up and he decides to throw some food at Kane and the Big Show. So surprise, surprise, he gets chokeslammed through a table. Look at my face. I love goofy wrestling for life. It's my favorite thing ever, and I had to go back and watch this, and I tell you right now, it's shit. The real crazy part is then you get this insane camera cut when all of a sudden everybody is gone, apart from Kevin Owens, when yes, he turns around and he gets that stupid pie in the face. Remember when people said that 2016 wasn't a good year for WWE? Well, let me introduce you to Exhibit A. And ultimately, this whole thing was just meant to be some stupid joke, because every single year WWE felt like they needed to do this just because it was a tradition. It's like the Halloween street fights they do in October. Vince McMahon had got into this really weird pattern where essentially all his creativity was based on things that he had done 10 years ago. So I can only presume that he thought this was absolutely hysterical. Once again, look at the lack of emotion on my face. I can tell you for free, It's not. It's also an insult when you do go back through some of the individuals I just mentioned to you, because it asks an even bigger question: why weren't they in proper programs? Imagine you did turn up on a Monday or Friday and you were told, yes, we just need you to sit in catering and throw some food around. You'd probably be transported to that first time you took a bump, and you'd ponder to yourself, why did I get into this? And why have I hurt myself through all of these years just so somebody can take a carrot, stick it where the sun don't shine? Therefore, after going through all this footage numerous times, I have decided to come to my decision, and it is somebody that you see right at the start of this event. That's right, I think the person that threw the pie in Kevin Owens' face is none other than Summer Rae. She is pointing and laughing from second one, and also make sure she stays completely out of harm's way. And by the time we are hurling all this stuff around, she is nowhere to be seen, probably because she had taken shelter under a table, just waiting for the right time to strike. I mean, why else would you do that if you didn't have a plan? It also means that we were robbed of Kevin Owens versus Summer Rae, although someone did tease a return to WWE the other day, and Kevin Owens needs a program right now. Put your hands together, Miller's done it again. It is amazing too, because if you type this into Google at the moment, you will find dozens and dozens of threads of people talking about who was responsible for this, even though Vince McMahon has been mentioned in 2 separate interviews. I mean, in many ways, I hope we never actually find out who the answer to this is, because it would have been like when Booker T and Edge fought at WrestleMania, because they each wanted a Japanese shampoo commercial. Once again, this is totally true. I haven't made that up. I just don't think I want to live in a world where Kevin Owens had to have a match on a big pay-per-view stage because he didn't like the fact that some kind of savory product was held right into his jaw. And now I'm sad that I've had to say these things. Whose idea was this video? As I did say on a different piece of content recently, though, I will double down and actually say this is why we probably should enjoy everything we are getting in 2024. Because with the rise of AEW and WWE totally smashing it later, characters are being used better, titles feel more important, and stories and matches are all over the place and just making you feel warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum. And even if somebody did do this, I don't think they would just drop it and not give you an answer. I mean, you'd probably think it was totally stupid, but it would be. But again, even if I'm going to tell you the most idiotic tale, you deserve to get to the last page and read the final sentence. So now, of course, I'm going to implore you that you go into the comments below and tell me who do you think threw the pie at Kevin Owens. And if any of them are so inventive they make me laugh, I will try and find you some kind of a prize, which will probably be a pie. It just seems like wonderful, ironic irony. Also, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which will be me talking about other unsolved mysteries in professional wrestling. Although you could probably argue that this one is all sewn up, because it was either Vince McMahon or Summer Rae. I mean, are you going to debate it? Kevin Owens certainly isn't. He pointed the finger at Vince, but again, I'm moving him to one side, especially given recent events, and I'm saying it was Summer Rae's fault. So say it with me, 3, 2, 1, damn, that's Summer Rae.